We've been going for an hour and 33 seconds. So we're right at the hour mark for this live stream. Actually, it's still not popping up. It's okay. Who needs YouTube anyways? Twitch is where it's at. It's not like I read YouTube chat, anywho. So, am I coming up for the Team East in New Jersey, Maple LFG? First off, thanks for the follow, if I haven't already thanked you. But I have never been to U.S. Amateur Team East. I have... Wait, what move did Black make? Have I been yapping too much? Don't answer that. Okay, the knight came out. And now she's played bishop d3. DQ'd a master. Or DQ'd a master. Thanks for the streak. 10 stream streak. That's incredible. I don't even know I've streamed that many times. What's up, Derp? How's it going? There's actually multiple Joe Bruins, so I can't claim to be the one and only. In fact, I'm actually an imposter. I'm not even the original Joe Bruin. I stole that name from the UCLA mascot. So, yeah. But hello, and what's up, Destrin? Good to see you. One of the best Joes, Bruin. I am one of the many Joe Bruins out there. There are many like me. Well, maybe not like me, but named like me. And when I say many, it's maybe not that many, actually. There's the mascot, and then there's this other streamer who, it was funny, I found their channel. Their username is iJoeBruin. And similarly, they took the name from the UCLA mascot because I hopped in their channel. I think they were streaming like, I don't know. It was like, maybe it was like college football or maybe it was like Fortnite or some video game. But it was funny because I hopped in their channel. It's like, hello to like my fellow Joe or like another Joe Bruin or whatever. And he was like, dude, I saw your channel because I tried taking the username, but you already took it. So I had to go with iJoeBruin. And he was like, did you go to UCLA or something? I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, my dad went to UCLA. So I'm a Bruins fan. So it's funny to me that he tried to take my name. And I say my name like I own it. I took the mascot's name. And then he tried to do the same thing, but it was already taken. So I think I got a little lucky because I was able to steal it first. But I will say this, though. I'm glad I got it before he did because of two reasons. The first reason is that I actually went to UCLA and he didn't. But the biggest and main reason is my real name is Joe. I'm actually Joe. His name's like something random, like Colton or Cody or something. I don't know. So if he had the name first and I had to be like iJoeBruin, I'd be like so upset. I'd be like, dude, this guy, his name's not even Joe. Like, what's he doing? Anyhow. You used to be the Yukon mascot, Jonathan the Husky. Were you actually the mascot? Like, that's awesome. I feel like I have a lot of school spirit. I liked going to the sporting events. I don't know if I'd be a good mascot though. Like I have a lot of spirit, but I don't have like the moves, you know? Like they gotta be pretty entertaining. And all they have is the costume. So they gotta like dance around a lot. You know, I don't my moves are refined to the chessboard. The moves off the chessboard, no good, right? Like online, I'm like over 2,000. On the dance floor, I'm like maybe 500 if I'm being generous, honestly. I don't necessarily practice too much. What's up, Sweet Chess? Good to see you. Who's the better chess player, me or the mascot? I've never played against the real Joe Bruin, but I'd be so down. I would love to play against Joe Bruin, the mascot. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think that Joe Bruin should go to one of the chess club meetings. The chess club meetings should just have the mascot there. They should have chess matches on college campuses where they have not only the mascot but also the cheerleaders. And they have to be dead silent. That'd be really awesome to see. And then at the end of the last game, then the crowd could just go wild. They should play the chess matches in the middle of the football field. And they should have full ride scholarships for the chess players. And I say that like it's not already happening. There are at least 6 schools that I know of that do have chess scholarship teams. 3 of them are in Missouri, and the other 3 are in Texas. Would you have been? What would have been your Twitch name if you couldn't have Joe Bruin? It would probably be like something like Joe Lee or something. My real name, maybe it would be Joe something. I'm sure. Or like my old chess username was like JLee96, something like that. Yeah, I could have a match for the Joe Bruin username. Are you not Joe Bruin? No, my real name's Joe Lee. Bruin Joe? No, I don't know. Um, yeah, this was a Jobava London, so um, I could take us back from the start. Honestly, though, I've been making some analysis moves, so we'll see. So yeah, opponent plays e6, and now we go for knight b5, just immediately attacking c7. Here, knight a6 is a move, just defending the pawn, but opponent went bishop to d6, which allows her to capture a bishop for the knight, which is really a nice way to grab the bishop pair. And now here's where she went all out. She full sent it, and this is the excitement that she's bringing to the table here today. G4, G5. Okay, here's where my analysis begins. It was G5 the move. Oh, and this is more analysis. Opponent actually went knight G8, and then we saw some development moves. And here's where we're at, folks. Wait, actually, opponent made a move. They moved their queen. Queen to c7. Joe Bruinski. Yes. I've been called Joe Brewski. That's definitely a nice nickname there that people have come up with. So Emily is on the clock. She's thinking of her next move. And yeah, I wonder if she too will castle at some point, like maybe develop her queen. Thoughts on Gukesh not winning this morning? That is the first I've heard of it. I have no idea what's going on. I'm assuming that's Tata Steel in the Netherlands. Honestly, I don't know anything about what's going on there. So I know much more about Emily. Although I have met Gukesh, I've also met Emily. I've met both of them. Who have I met? I've talked to Emily in person. But I didn't really talk to Gukesh. I just saw him and got his signature and got a picture. But I have some pictures with Emily. I didn't. Oh, I did get Emily's signature. Yeah. I wonder if I've seen more Emily games than Gukesh games. I'm not sure on that one. We'll have to see. I think the ultimate test, though, I think Emily has to play Gukesh. And then based off that, I'll decide who I like more, maybe. And it's not necessarily the winner. I think it's just, whoever can play a more entertaining game. So it might not, Gukesh, like he's really good or whatever, but like sometimes these strong players they play like a 5 move draw or something. It could be very boring sometimes. So I'm watching Emily right now. All right. Anywho, I have to take a quick break. I'll be right back. So stay tuned. We'll see what Emily plays, or if she plays. Maybe she won't play by the time I'm back. We'll see. All right, I've returned. Um, Hello and welcome back to myself. You guys probably stayed here, unless anyone also left and then returned exactly when I did, which would be quite the coincidence. But I see Zach says that she's meaner in person. I wanna say that first and foremost, I think he's being sarcastic. So if anyone doesn't know, I'm pretty sure Zach's joking. If he's not, that's fair too. But I will say my own personal experience, Emily is very sweet. She's a very nice person, and I've hung out with her multiple times in person. So, uh, but yeah, I saw someone asked if that's true. Um, but no, I don't think Emily has an ego about her. What's up, Abdul Roof? Good to see you. I think I saw you tuned in to my other stream the other day, um, in a different chat, and I don't know if I got to you in time. I said hi, unless there's another Abdul Roof out there. I have a suspicion that it's the same Abdul Roof. Torin, thanks for the follow. Welcome. Maybe they got her confused with Dina. That's also very. I I mean, I've hung out with Dina many times in person too. Dina's great as well. Honestly, I like you guys might not trust me too much, uh, but like pretty much everyone I've met in person that I've seen on stream is roughly the same as what you see. To be honest, I don't think there's a lot of people that are really putting up too much of a, I don't know, streamer persona. I mean, that I feel like takes a lot of work to have to separate who you are on stream versus who you are off stream. Um, but I mean, I do know there are people that do that and have done that. Um, but I think for the most part, like in the chess world, what you see is what you get. Oh my lord, this dude's doing flip tricks with his pieces. he's he's put he's putting new pieces on the board, man. Look at this kid. Dude, he's trying to it's like when you're trying to flip the bottle and make it land upright. That was pretty cool, man. That was sick. I mean, imagine you make a capture and instead of like taking the piece, you just flip your piece and it like lands. That would be dude, I might resign if someone did that to me. That'd be sick. Um but Derp is such a cool guy as well. I've met Destrin. You guys could ask Destrin if I'm the same in person. Um I there was this fun time. So I met. Okay, some of you may know this guy, but he hasn't been streaming really in quite some time. So he's not the most known streamer out there. But his name's Swole19. Shout out to Sammy. Big fan of Sammy. So I met Sammy in person for the first time at one of these Vegas tournaments, and he's a big fan. And he made a joke about like we were streaming in the hotel room together, and then I ended the stream, and he made some joke about like me being really nice. And then when I ended the stream, I was like, I was like, all right, everyone, get out of the room. But I mean, obviously, I was joking, so that was funny. But yeah. You've heard mixed reviews of my tour guide capabilities. Mixed reviews? I thought honestly mixed reviews is pretty good because that means it's some good and some bad. Because I've only heard bad things. I thought it was pretty unanimous that I was a bad tour guide. But yeah, that was I'm assuming from Anna Cramling's U.S. tour when she visited St. Louis. We got to hang out a little bit. Um, but yeah, she was asking me questions about like the architecture of the buildings, and I was like, dude, I don't know. And she was like, oh, you're a terrible tour guide. I'm like, oh, I didn't study up enough, clearly. Um, and this is why kids are annoying. I don't know, Dash. I think it's kind of cute. Like, okay, the last time I commentated for Emily against a kid, I mean, that was like one of Emily's most viral videos. I feel like this kid just could not sit still, and he was playing with the paper, he was playing with his jacket, like everything. It was great entertainment. Um, but I could see why it's distracting and maybe annoying. So that's fair. I'm a little taller in person. Yeah. The stream, it takes away a lot of my height. What's up, Eskia? Shout out to Eskia. Sam did an amazing tour for us. Oh yeah, no. When I visited Rotterdam, Sam, he had a private boat. It was like a yacht. He took us out on a yacht And Eskia was there too. Eskia will tell you. I mean, it pays to know people on Twitch. So if you're comparing Sam's tour to my tour, I could understand why I've had some negative remarks. I'm not at Sam's level. So the beard really suits me. I was just saying I was gonna shave today. My plan was to shave before the stream, cause I can't afford to let people see me like this. What's up, Maple? Thank you for the sub. Now, um, yeah, thank you, Maple. I saw you put the link for Emily, her US chess. Let me double check this. Let me look at this. Cause yeah, I think there's like a Twitch moderation. Whoa, I've never seen this website. Did they change the website? uschess.org. Yo, Eskia with the 5 gifted. Let's go, dude. Should I not shave now? Was that the bargain? Was that the deal? Gifted to Stanford Rob. Southern Chess Spirit, hello YB, hey it's V, and Bishop Stars, huge 5 gifted. We can be beard bros. Oh man, the bearded chess community is trying to convert me. Is that what is going on? That's crazy, dude. I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, Emily, she's made a move, you guys. She's made a backwards knight move. That that is actually that was not on my radar. A lot of times chess players they have these spidey senses. And that was not getting picked up by me. But I'm also not a spider. So who knows? I feel like spiders would be good at chess, right? Like they could make so many moves with each leg so fast. But who knows? Knight d2. I played in a tournament in Vegas just last month between Christmas and New Year's, the North American Open. And I was reviewing one of my games with Mark Plotkin, who goes by Little Plotkin on Twitch. Very entertaining streamer, very strong player, international master from Canada. Some of you may know him. And there was a move that I made, and he said, I could tell you 10 moves that I would play before I even considered this one. so, so that's how I know I played a bad move, was the brutal reality. And I appreciate the reality, you know? I don't want to have things sugar coated. If I'm trying to improve and I make a bad move, don't make it better. You know, you're only making it worse. Now this, I don't mean to bring up that story to compare that to this move, because I don't think this is a bad move by any means. The only reason why I brought it up is because I wasn't considering this move. So that's what it reminded me of, is that I made a move that Mark would never consider. And to be frankly honest with all of you right now, if I can, I honestly wasn't looking too much at the position. So it's very possible it's still a good move. I think that naturally I don't want to put a piece backwards. But if you'll notice with this move, what does this move do actually? It does create a threat. You'll notice these two pieces, they're very forkable by a pawn because they're basically a square apart, right? And so Emily is bracing for impact, and that's exactly what we see here. with the player with black pieces playing the move e5. And so this is coming with a tempo. Had she kept her knight on f3, the next move she'd be getting forked, so she would lose a piece. And here we see a capture. She takes this. So probably she shouldn't have, but it's not easy to resist. If you put the bishop backwards, you are losing a pawn, right? This is attacked twice, only defended once. But by taking, you're helping the black pawn structure. You're undoubling their pawns. What's up, Joe and Jason and Lydia? Do you guys share one account? Am I actually live on YouTube? I tried to find the stream and it wasn't working. So maybe I'm live now. Oh, I am live. Nice. Do you guys share? That's so let's see. This stream has been live for only like 25 minutes. But I've been live on Twitch for an hour and 26 minutes. So YouTube missed out on an hour, unfortunately. So if you wanted to go watch the first hour, you can go to Twitch, I guess. What was the opening reaction? This is honestly a perfect moment for me to go back over the game. So basically, we had a Jobava London. And speaking of Sam, I think he likes this opening. But yeah, she picks up the bishop pair here. And then she launches g5. She goes for the kingside attack. She gets g5 in. And now she just develops her pieces. And after queen to c7, she's anticipating this central pawn push from her opponent. And so she very wisely decides to remove the knight from the threat. Maybe better is to move this guy back. I don't know. She plays knight d2 here. And the opponent continues with e5, and now she captures. And then opponent captures back. And now the bishop has to go back to g3. So here we are. Opponent creating a nice pawn duo here in the center. Able to push this bishop if they wanted to. Probably the bishop would just go back to e2, I assume. So, yeah. Very interesting position. Probably she might want to castle, but it's not easy because queenside castle puts you opposite this queen, and maybe there's a move like knight b4, which can be annoying. When do you think they will castle, Maple? That's a great question, because castling is a very important move in the game of chess. I'm gonna move this, to be honest. I don't like that it's covering. But okay. She's really leaned forward. She's like directly over the board. When people play in tournaments, a lot of times, if they're used to playing online, just the visualization is so different. Emily's really making sure she gets that top-down bird's eye view, because that's gonna be what she's most familiar with from playing online, right? This is honestly part of the strategy. She's probably drawing arrows in her head right now, right? She's like, okay, if here, and then my queen can't come out, so I'm gonna have to play here, to play here, to play here, to put my rook here, and play here, probably here, probably they go there. Also, if this, we just take that. So, scratch all of that. That none of that actually counted. Yeah, honestly, that's why I play online, because you can't draw those arrows in person. In person, I mean, you're expecting me to physically set up the board. What if I put the pieces on the wrong squares? Did you think about that? No one's stopping me from making illegal moves besides my opponent. I've actually played an illegal move before. Um, yeah, that the touch piece rule messes me up. Online, I'm touching everything. Look, it even has these little dots that tells me what's possible. I mean, dude, this is the year 2026. We're living in the future. Over the board chess, I mean, the best technology we have, the squares on the board lights up, but I don't think anyone would allow you to use that in a official. They should play on that board for the world championship. Really nice hair, Joe. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. Who is taller, me or Anna Cramling? You can actually look at the video and see us together, and you can decide. I'll let you guess, maybe. How tall do you think Anna Cramling is? And how tall do you think I am? Do you like Emily's outfit better or her opponent's? I would most likely wear something like the opponent. In fact, I was wearing a hoodie before this, and I took it off. And I already had my camera over the opponent, so it looked like Emily was playing against me. I just didn't have the hoodie on. But, I mean, dude, give me a hoodie, and that's my outfit for the whole week. All right? And then maybe I'll wash it after. Or maybe I'll just switch hoodies. I just alternate hoodies. As long as it's cold out. If it's cold enough, I'm good to go. Emily, though, I mean, obviously she looks great. She always looks great. She's always got good taste. I wouldn't wear it, but that's not anything against Emily's style. I just don't think it would work well on me. But it looks comfortable, and that's really important because chess tournament, you're sitting there for hours. You know, if you're uncomfortable, that can be draining. You know. But yeah, I'm probably the worst person to ask about style because I don't really have any. I'm wearing a black t-shirt, and that's as good as it gets. I'm in gym shorts, which you guys don't get to see that. But that's probably for the best for everyone, really. No one's asking to see that. And if you are asking for that, well, I don't have the other platforms. But I do have Discord, though. But I'm not really posting selfies in there. I have Instagram. Anyways. Eskia is saying Anna Cramley is slightly taller than me. Destin's saying Joe is taller than Anna. So that must mean that I'm slightly taller than Eskia. And I have met Eskia. But Eskia, you know, what they say about Dutch people is that they're very tall. And Eskia though, he's Turkish, but he's also Dutch. So those are like two conflicting sources. You know, there's a battle waging within Eskia, and it results in him being shorter than me. And I'm not even Dutch. So, yeah. Anyways, Toast, thanks for the follow. Anywho, what did Black play? It's Emily's move. Did the queen move? The queen must have moved. Queen moved here. This is what we call a threat. Black is threatening a pawn right now. So Emily must deal with this threat. Otherwise, she could lose a pawn. That being said, you guys want to guess what the computer's favorite move is? Maybe that's a hint. There's two wolves, a short wolf and a tall wolf. You're short king at 5'10". I would argue that 5'10 is not short. Who's saying 5'10 is short? Maybe the Dutch people. Anna would wipe the floor with Joe. Chuck Norris. Honestly, Anna, she crushed me the last time we played. We played in St. Louis when she visited. However, I will say this. The first time we met and played was in Los Angeles. I almost said Las Vegas. We've met in Las Vegas, but we didn't. Did we play there? I don't think we played there. Man, how many cities have I met Anna Cramling in? I saw Anna in Rotterdam, and I saw Anna in St. Louis, and LA, and Vegas. Where have I met her anywhere else? I like Malibu, I guess, but I would count that as I mean, I've met her, I guess, in LA twice, if you count Malibu, which I think it counts. But anyways, yeah, Anna and I, we commentated for the first time together like 2020, I want to say. Um, but yeah, I think Anna's definitely a much better player than I am. But it's not like a crazy difference. We're fairly close. But I think she's been on a much better trajectory, and I've been on the decline. So that's not working in my favor, for sure. It also helps when you are playing much more than me, and I think she probably has more resources available to her. Uh, but I mean, those are pretty much excuses. The biggest difference though is that she is playing much more and putting much more effort in. Remember, I'm lazy, so I'm not really studying or grinding or practicing. I'm just goofing around, having fun. Okay. You can't respond. Are you taller than? I love that people are actually curious if I'm tall. Um, is this a trend? Do people just want to know if you're taller than Anna Cramling or not? Wait, you said Anna with one N though, so maybe it's a different Anna. There's so many Annas. Can you speak any other languages? No. Pero yo puedo hablar español un poquito. Pero mi español es muy terrible. You met Bill Cosby, but you don't want to talk about Ken Villa. Well, seems like you're talking about it. E4 is the move, says Flippeth. So E4 is one of the top recommendations. It's not the best according to the engine that I have. At depth 19, Stockfish 17.1 light on my computer. For anyone that's really curious about the specs. I guess it also depends on like how strong my computer is. Like I feel like chess engines can be exactly the same but give you a different result based off what computer you're using. I don't know. I'm sure there are smarter people that are more knowledgeable about this that can answer. Eskia knows at least two languages, probably three, but potentially more. Maybe Eskia also knows Spanish. I think I know Jenny speaks a ton of languages. I feel like Asmoata speaks a lot of languages. So okay, Eskia, I'm guessing, is Turkish, Dutch, and English at a minimum. Asmoata, it's like Romanian, Portuguese, Dutch. Does Asmoata even say that she speaks? I mean, surely she speaks. Anyways, she knows English. Am I missing anything? I feel like, I don't know. People that speak Portuguese, I feel like they could learn Spanish, right? I mean, they could obviously, but like, is it easier? Is it that much easier? I don't know. I know Destian speaks Portuguese and English. I don't know if he speaks Dutch though. Destian says he speaks three, so it's Portuguese, English, and if I had to guess the third language he speaks, dude, I don't know. I, maybe I've known, but maybe it's Spanish. Who knows, dude? Asma is the linguistic goat. Really? German and French in school bumps it up to 5. Holy smokes, dude. I'm sitting over here with 1 in the land of the USA. Uh, Anywho, wow, ladies and gentlemen, Emily has played e4. She said, "Go ahead, take my b pawn. See if I care." Oh my lordy. So the top engine move actually it was saying is c4. The second best move is e4 actually. And then the third best move is just castling. So none of the top 3 moves even care about b2. And honestly, that's how I feel sometimes. I'm this b pawn and I'm like the world is crashing down on me. Like the entire chessboard, it's got all of these pieces on it, and the most powerful piece is just raining down on me. And yet, the engine, the viewers, the commentators, and the players, they're like, dude, no one's even looking at b2. Like, we want to play anything. We want them to take b2. And I'm like, that's honestly relatable. I'm joking. That's actually not how I feel. But sometimes you can feel like that. You're like, does anyone even care about me? Like, hello? The strongest piece on the board is attacking me. I'm just a pawn. Like, I'm just sitting here minding my own. I haven't even moved. I ain't bothering nobody. Why are you picking on me for no reason? Can somebody help me out? Like, can I even get a queen c1 or a rook b1? No. They're like, dude, we don't care. There's more important things going on right now. We have to fight for the center. Am I okay? It's a cry for help. No. Okay, so yeah, e4. Okay, so here's what I like. This queen was defending this pawn. Back to the reality of the chess vision here. This knight is defending this pawn. This bishop is attacking this pawn. So this pawn duo, a pawn duo is super valuable. It's very strong. If you could break up this pawn duo, if we could take this and somehow attack this knight, our bishop pair is going to open up. And that is a powerful thing. That is an asset. That is a strength that Emily has earned in her position early on in the opening by taking the dark square bishop for her knight. And so if we can attack in the center and open things up, the bishops will flourish. And that is more valuable than the b pawn. And I apologize to the b pawn specifically, and to anyone out there that feels like a b pawn sometimes. But you know, That's what happens when you're part of a team. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice. And sometimes that sacrifice comes at the cost of a B pawn. Um, but it's a team effort. So if that queen takes that B pawn, then that's a move that black is spending that puts the queen away from the action. It's a distraction. Black, they haven't even developed this minor piece. They haven't castled, right? So Emily, she's got her eyes on the prize, and that's playing good moves. She is not going to change her plan just to save a pawn. She is going to focus on the center. She's going to do what's best for her pieces. And e4 is a great move. So the computer is not recommending to take on b2. We could look at what happens. After takes, so it likes castling. It likes taking here. It likes rook b1, which this is like 2-pawn sacrifice, basically. And it still likes castles. It likes rook back to a1. Maybe we offer a draw. I don't know. I'm not going to lie, guys. Personally, I feel like 2 pawns is a lot. Oh, my lord. I'm getting rated by none other than International Master Eric Rosen. Huge shout out to Eric. Do I have an Eric command or is it a Rosen command? I should have a Rosen command. Oh, yes. My shout out. There we go. Shout out to Eric. Absolute legend. I hope Eric's doing well. Always good to see him. We're watching Emily. She's actually playing in Charlotte. This is the Charlotte Open 2026, round 2. And she played round 1 this morning, earlier today. And she won that game in spectacular fashion. I highly recommend that you go check it out. I can share the link. This is the current game that we have, but you can go to that events page and find her first game. She sacrificed her queen, and she delivered checkmate. It was beautiful. An absolute thing of beauty. If you're a fan of chess, and I have a sneaking suspicion that you are, then you will enjoy Emily's first round game. It was a beautiful masterpiece. And we're in for quite a treat here today in round 2 already. So she's playing against a younger opponent. We have a Jobava London. So for those of you joining us for the first time, tuning in, I'll show you guys the game so far. We have a Jobava London, and she goes after c7, and she picks up the bishop pair here. And now here she full sends. She goes all out. g4. Maximum aggression from Emily. She's going after this knight. Knight goes back to the starting square. She just continues developing. We have queen to c7. And this is threatening a nice fork here. So Emily brings back her knight. And she now, after queen to b6, she goes e4. So this is where we're at. After this, bishop to e6, giving some support to this pawn. And yeah, computer, it likes castling, it likes taking on d5, it likes queen e2 as well. Honestly, so now I think giving up this pawn is not as bad, because now that the bishop has developed, rook b1 gets the b pawn back. Now, she could be losing a second pawn, so she'd still be giving up one pawn. But I think that the rook activity is definitely something of compensation. It's maybe not the best, but it also weakens this pawn. If we play queen e2, there's some pressure on the a6 pawn as well. I think queen takes could defend that, but ultimately, it's a game. There's a lot going on. She's pushed the g pawn. She has neither side has castled yet. Maybe castling is good. in general, but you don't have to castle all the time. I definitely think Emily could have castled earlier, but she didn't. She's opted for G4, G5, very aggressive, and it's definitely deterred black from castling. I think had Emily castled kingside, for example, I think black would have kingside as well. Oh my goodness, we're getting another raid here from Blunderman. Shout out to the Blunderman himself. For those of you that don't know, Blunderman is an absolute legend. He's streaming all the time on Twitch and on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, you can check him out there as well. But this guy, he recently set himself a goal. He's trying to improve his chess rating. I don't know the exact rating, but I do know that he shaved his head for his chess goal. He's not going to get another haircut until he reaches his goal. So that's exciting. I know a lot of people were commenting about my hair for whatever reason, recommending to grow out my facial hair. But if you think my hair is interesting, wait till you see Blunderman and his lack of hair, actually, now. But he's growing it back. The man's got a great head of hair. And if his chess goal is delayed, you'll see it come back. It might get really long, but who's to say? We'll have to find out. You dropped back to the 1700s, Blenderman. That's okay, man. I like to say that chess progress, it's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So you might be in the step back timeline right now, but you'll be back making progress in no time. So looking forward to that. Why do you know these things, Joe? That Blunderman shaved his head? Why do I know? Because I've seen it. I follow him. I watch his streams. That's why I know. You have to be in the know. But I'm telling you now how to be like me. You just have to, you gotta follow. Give that man a follow. His head is massive. What's up, Ollie? Good to see you. It's a dude, it's not, it's a 4-head plus a 5-head. Oh my goodness. That's just quick math. Anyways. Yeah. Blunderman is really cool. He also has a pet, bearded dragon. So, for those of you that know Uncle Jesse, she also has a pet bearded dragon named Rudy. I don't know. I think Blunderman's bearded dragon's name is like, is it Chester? Is it Chessie? It's something. It's Chess something. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Ollie. It is Chester. Okay. Yeah, how many of you knew Blunderman had a pet bearded dragon named Chester? You know, there's a lot of people out there that they'll say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Blunderman fan." But if you can't name his bearded dragon, are you really a Blunderman fan? You know, honestly, people were asking me earlier if I didn't have my username as Joe Bruin, what would it be? Maybe I should change my username to BlunderFan YT. If that username's not taken, that's a golden opportunity. Someone's got to get on that before it's taken, if it's not already taken. Is the bearded dragon the move? If you want a pet, but you don't want a dog or a cat, maybe you're allergic, then maybe bearded dragon's the move. Maybe. If you want a friend that's a lifelong commitment, look into it. I think they're very cute. And I think they're also, you know, good pets. I think they're loyal. You know, they got a bit of a personality. I would definitely recommend watching Uncle Jesse. she has a channel point redeem that you can have her bring Rudy out, and she puts Rudy on her shoulder, and they just hang out while she plays chess. It's very cute. Very cool. Also, Rudy has his own Instagram page along with Clementine, who is Jesse's pet snake. What are my thoughts on the H pawn? Well, there's two of them. Just in general, H pawn, it gets a lot more attention than the B pawn, that's for sure. That B pawn might not even be on the board. That poor thing. People can't get rid of the B pawn enough, honestly, it seems. But anyways, maybe the B pawn's getting more attention than maybe I'm the one giving it the attention, because the queen played to B6, right? But hasn't taken on B2. So maybe it's just all in my head. Maybe I'm the one. Okay, here we go. The kid. Oh, the knight. The knight has moved. Wow. Knights to G6. So yeah, she castles, which after playing G4, G5, it's kind of funny. But, you know, it's cool. She castled before Black did, so that's great. Black still hasn't castled. They played knight to G6. And now maybe it's time for the H pawn. Maybe not. Maybe Black will just play like H6 or something, but okay. Anywho, let's see what's going on here. What does Emily want now? Can I tell her, Ollie? Yeah, I can let her know. Yeah, did they I saw she rotated her score sheet. I didn't see why. So I guess he must have asked to see it. Yeah, Zoomja, her round 1 game was beautiful. My favorite move, rook d1. Hanging her queen, but threatening a nasty checkmate, which she got anyways. So really beautiful stuff there. Strong start to a tournament. I love when you sign up for a tournament and maybe you haven't played in a while. Maybe you're feeling a little nervous, right? There's a lot of tension, energy. Maybe for me, but maybe other people are really calm and they've got ice in their veins. Maybe that's Emily. Emily, she looks like she could have ice in her veins. She looks pretty calm, collected. Right? I mean, she's been playing this game with some confidence for sure. But I think it also helps when you get a game like that out of the way for round 1. That's a great feeling to start a tournament like that. So you can shake off a lot of that nervous energy and get a lot of confidence when you can win. And win in style, with fashion, right? Just leaving your queen for grabs, pulling off a checkmate on the board is super satisfying. Mallow, thanks for the follow. Welcome. She looks like that Emma Frost character. I don't know who that is. Who is that? That was her best start to a tournament of all time. Was that Emily's Immortal, you guys? Where do we get the confidence, AJ? That's a great question. I feel like there's probably many sources of confidence, right? I think people find confidence in many ways, in many areas. I think winning obviously is helpful. She takes, bishop takes. This is a little scary. the good news is she controls e4, so she could try and trade bishops if she wanted to. Opponent is not at the table yet, but I'm only assuming that he will recapture this pawn and not let Emily fork her stuff. But yeah, confidence, you just got to believe in yourself, you know? You have to have a lot of faith and reassurance internally, right? And if you study and you prepare and you practice, that is also a large source of confidence, right? But ultimately, you just have to believe in yourself. And I know Emily's been putting in a lot of work, a lot of training, a lot of effort into her chess and improving. And having a tournament, having a game specifically, it's kind of like a test, right? It's a test of all of the training and the practice that you put in. And it's your time to shine. It's your time to show off everything that you've learned, right? It's putting those skills in motion. And Emily believed in herself, and she has that confidence. She's believing in her moves and her calculation, and she played fabulously. And even this game, she's come up with some really creative ideas. She's kept us all on our toes, right? I think we're gonna continue looking back at G4, G5, and honestly, it might have been a little early. I'm not gonna lie, but that's also gonna be a lesson learned at the end of the game for Emily, or maybe even in the middle of the game. I personally have made some moves in the middle of a game where I'm like, ooh, I don't think I should have done that. Like, have you ever played an opening against someone that you have no idea what you're doing, and in the middle of that opening you're like, oh, it's all starting to make sense now. Like, I probably should have done this, this, and this, or like, oh, that's why you do this. I feel like it's very similar to playing or taking a test, right? Like, have you ever taken a test where you're trying to teach yourself the material in the middle of the test? You're like, hold on, I can figure this out. Like, there's like math tests where you have formulas and you're like, I don't know any of this, but if I just like put the numbers in enough different ways, like surely something's gonna work. I can figure this out on the spot, on the fly. Sometimes that works out, but probably the most helpful thing is to just study beforehand. And that way you have a bit more confidence going in. You don't have to spend as much time and energy figuring things out while you're actually playing. But okay, Emily, she's finally saved the B pawn. The B pawn is getting some action, ladies and gentlemen. The B pawn will not be taken for free. Zach asked me about the lore, about the painting behind me. So the lore is actually really simple. It's the... Is that like the horseshoe bend? I don't know what that is, honestly. I think it's in Arizona. So the lore behind that is that it came with the room when I moved in, and I just haven't swapped it out. But for anyone that remembers my streams back when I was living in LA, or even earlier, they'll remember that I actually had some chessboards behind me, and I might do that again. I might swap them out. So stay tuned, I guess. Maybe I've lived here for over a year now, but maybe this year will be different. Maybe 2026, I'll actually try to make my room look better for streaming. Maybe. Anyways, she wants knight c4. Does she want knight c... I mean, she could have played knight c4 to begin with, actually. But Maybe she wants to play c4. I guess she could have played c4 too. Who knows? Um, but it definitely helps save the pawn, that's for sure. Chess paintings, that's really cool. You used to stream Valorant. I also streamed Valorant for some time. Um, Valorant was fun. I enjoyed, for sure. I haven't played it in a very long time, though. The boats has background. Now we're talking Bishop Stars. Knight f4 and h4 is probably better for black. Yeah, I mean, Emily has castled, and now black still hasn't castled. Black is maybe weighing the pros and cons of pushing their h-pawn because they could open the h-file for their rook while the rook is still on the h-file. If they castle, the rook isn't on the h-file anymore. But castling is typically pretty safe, right? So yeah, it's always a bit of uncertainty of like who's attacking who, right? Emily's the one that was aggressive initially, pushing the g pawn, but that can always backfire, especially now that she's castled kingside, and we see this light square bishop really just kind of controlling these squares in front of the king. So that's a little scary, of course. This bishop can always be kicked, so it's not like it's a permanent problem. Maybe this knight moves, and the bishop can come back, and the bishop would be better placed. But still, white can contest the bishop, though. It's not like white doesn't have their own light square bishop to help control some of these squares. And that being said, like this aggressive move can backfire in other ways. Like I mentioned, opening the h-file is also a possibility. But at the same time, that could leave black's king exposed, right? Black hasn't castled at all. So king safety is always super important, and you always have to tiptoe that fine line. There's a balance between being too aggressive or being too passive, right? They say you have to break some eggs to make an omelet. And Emily, she broke her kingside pawn structure in the hopes of creating an attack. So, in a way, your pawns are like eggs. I think that's the takeaway. You have an idea for a new chess piece called the Old Woman. It moves like a pawn and can't capture anything. But if it gets to the end, you promote to the Grand Empress, which can move like the queen and the knight. Choose one pawn to be the Old Woman at the start of the game. Does your opponent know which one is that? Oh, wow. Emily... Oh, I feel like I disagree with this move a lot. She's taken the knight with her bishop. And the reason why I disagree with it is because I was just mentioning her bishop is essentially the counterpiece to her opponent's light square bishop, right? And also, I was talking about opening the h-file for the rook. Well, Emily is really expediting that process because black can just take with the h-pawn here. And so black is really getting a lot of value out of Emily's last trade. So let's look at this. Let's see how the engine, if the engine agrees with my feelings or not. I could be wrong, but first and foremost, this is not one of the top 3 moves. Wait, what did black played something? I missed it. The knight moved here. Okay. So the best move is knight c4, as someone else had pointed out. It also likes bishop f5. It's also liking knight f3, which is very interesting. I was thinking something like bishop e4, maybe? Well, anyways, she took here. And, ooh, guys. What do you guys think is the best move? I thought just takes with the h-pawn, but apparently there's a better way. Why are you guys saying knight d4? Everyone's saying knight d4. Did I mess this up? It was knight d4. That's my bad. My apologies. Knight d4. And here, let's see this. After castles, was it knight g6? Takes. Then she pushed b3. And then it was knight to d4. And now she took. Yeah, still though, okay, knight here. It likes rook e1. Rook e1 makes a lot of sense. I like rook e1. What else? c3, queen h5 is interesting. But okay, she took here, and yeah, black takes with the pawn. This was my gut instinct initially as well, but the computer really likes queen takes, actually, which makes a lot of sense. Queen takes is actually a fork on two pawns at the same time. Now, we could play c3 there, right? Force this knight away. Knight e6. But then, like, if we try to hold on to this pawn, I think our problems just get worse. Yeah, what's interesting is, as well as the e pawn is hanging. So, okay, opponent played h takes. H takes, and now this rook is opened up. So Emily can win this pawn, but man, I'm getting slightly scared for her king. I'm not gonna lie. I really didn't like knight take or bishop takes g6. It likes rook e1 still. Rook e1, and I'm wondering if we do. I don't know. I probably would take this, but I'm not happy about it. I'm like, hey, I'm forking this maybe. Who knows? Oh, she's already done that actually. So she has taken this. Okay. She's threatening some things, perhaps. I have a feeling that queenside castles is pretty good, although it's still kind of weak, but yeah, this pawn is hanging. I don't know how bad or good that is. Everything's scary when your king isn't safe, right? You're taking some risks. Meanwhile, this kid's just playing with his pen. He's poking the board. Maybe he's bored. You want the old woman chess variant. I feel like it would probably need a rebrand. I don't know. What's wrong? That's wrong. Oh, not okay. Thanks, Ralph. Thanks, everyone. Honestly, I hadn't seen the chat get so much engagement. I should put more wrong moves on the board just so that everyone corrects me. What if I just say some terrible, like, I should just be spreading misinformation. I should just be rage baiting the audience. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the whole basis of Twitter. I feel like that's how Twitter algorithm works. There's just like, put the most atrocious things out in the internet and then profit. It's a good idea if Emily tried to exchange the queens. Yeah, I agree with that. Queen trade is good for Two main reasons. First and foremost, she's technically just won a pawn. So she's up material, trades are going to be good. But the second and maybe the more important reason is because her king is really weak. King safety is a huge factor for who wants to trade queens. So if your king is safe and your opponent's king is weak, you want the queens on the board. You want to use your queen as part of the attack. A weak king's biggest nightmare is a queen. Queens are scary pieces. Queens are like the #1 cause of death for kings. Kings, they just get checkmated so easily. Am I doing it now by not updating the board? Probably. Marie Chess with a huge rate of 44. Hello. And I saw Marie was streaming with Lily, actually. Shout out to Marie. I met Marie Chess for the first time in my life what feels like a year ago. It's because we've known each other for so long and so well. And also because it was 2025. It was like 3 weeks ago, basically. But yes, hello to Marie Chess and everyone joining us. This is Emily Plays Chess, playing at the Charlotte Open 2026. This is her second round. She will be back playing again tomorrow. So if you guys want to tune in tomorrow and see how the rest of her tournament goes, I encourage you all to be there. She played Rookie 1. Okay. All right, thank you. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I'm a couple moves behind, it seems. What? The knight was moved, and now Rookie 1. All right. And now we're up to date. Finally. Took me long enough. Imagine I put the knight back here. Man, everyone would be losing their minds. No, the problem, guys, it's not me. I'm not the problem. It's the board. They put this delay on the board, you know? And now I have to make, like... I thought we had the technology, and we do. But we're limiting it. Now you have to trust me. That's the biggest mistake you could make. The Spanish changed the pieces because of their queen, right? It's like Queen... Was it like Queen Isabella or something? I don't know. Has the game been interesting so far? I would say yes. I would say it has been. And you can be the judge of that at the end of the day. But I'll show you guys the game from start to finish. And you guys tell me, has this game been interesting or not? And I know it's going to be a rough start, okay? I know I'm telling you it's going to be an interesting game. The first move is d4. Okay, so you just have to bear with me for a little, just a couple move. I know it's the Jobava London, but wait till you see what she does, okay? Here, knight b5, right? She picks up the bishop pair. So that's something, right? And now, boom, look at that, g4. Have you seen that before? I mean, that's pretty spicy. That's grabbed my attention. That's for sure. G4 and G5, knight back to G8. And now we just continue some development. She has to save her pieces here a little bit. And now, look at this. Queen B6, E4. What a move that is. Castles. Takes. B3. We had knight here. Takes. And then takes. Knight back, rook e1. There we have it. What's up, Ben, Daniel, Sean? We're all here rooting for Emily. Emily, she's down a little bit on the clock. But it is her opponent's turn. She's just played rook e1. Now, rook e1, this is not just getting the rook opposite the king, but it's actually coming with a direct threat. She is threatening to take this pawn, actually, because the knight move defended the pawn, but now, once the bishop moves, the knight will be pinned to the king by the rook. So Emily, she's already up one pawn. She's potentially going to get a second pawn. And the good news is that if this pawn falls, then her bishop might be a beast on f6, hunkered in by that g pawn, which, by the way, is actually a fairly weak pawn because, well, the knight's attacking it, but also it's very extended. There's no other pawns defending it currently, although in the future that could change. This h-file, though, is wide open. We're not really touching this h-pawn anytime soon. The f-pawn is also pinned, so that's not moving. But rook e1, this just puts any thought of moving the knight to rest. You don't really want to take this pawn, for example. That'd be a great way to lose the game. You could lose this queen. You know what's funny though? If the rook was still on f1, if we go back a move, and let's say we did something random, and black takes this, well, even if we were able to like win this queen, for example, just simply knight h3, and that's actually checkmate. So that would be really sad and bad. That'd be a great way to lose the game, though. But luckily for us, we did play rook e1. So we did not play some random move. Now, if the knight comes in, we technically have a square to go to. So that's already good. Although, to be fair, if a knight just miraculously landed here and we moved here, we are still getting mated. But the good news is this knight is not here, and it is here. And with the rook on e1, any knight and bishop move is going to give a discovery check. So black at this stage should probably castle, get the king out of the way. What's interesting is that it wants the king to castle kingside, actually. It doesn't want to go queenside. And on top of that, it doesn't want to go queenside so much that it actually says that even just playing king f8 is a better move than queenside castle. So king f8 is actually kind of a thing, because you're leaving this rook here and you're getting the king off of this file. It also defends that pawn. I'm liking king f8 a bit, but not as much as the computer likes castling. So, okay, opponent, they've made their move, and wow, the queen came home. Ah, the queen wants a piece of the pie. But this is really a passive move, I think. Again, just putting a piece back to its starting square. That's the second time we've seen our opponent do that. And now Emily, ooh, I don't like this move. Maybe she wants to trade queens. Maybe it's okay. But okay, the computer, it's recommending queen to g4 here. Queen g4, and I guess the rook wants to come to d1, probably. So Emily's played the move knight to e4, and the idea is that she wants to trade queens. She says, let's get the queens off the board. Emily's like staring at her opponent. Opponent's like playing with the queen. She's like, can you not Or maybe she was looking off in the distance. Hard to tell at this angle. Um, but yeah, I feel like it can be weird if your opponent's standing instead of sitting, just at the board. Um, but yeah, he's a youngin. Maybe there's nothing wrong with standing there. Wondering knight takes g5 is a mating net. For our king, maybe. But I think if it yielded a discovery attack. Also, knight d6 is a strong idea as well, just giving a check to the king. So, yeah. Black could take, but also they could play bishop back to c6. Bishop c6, and I really like this check, I feel like. But you know, this king is just so weak. Like, you have to be very, very careful not to lose the game immediately. What was wrong with that? Taking on g7 was not good because this queen has a very strong threat. Oh my lordy, we're getting a huge raid from the one and only Matt. Shout out to Houseline 301. Matt's been doing some awesome stuff. Tuned into his study stream the other day. Definitely go check him out. Matt's great. Matt, I think, was just hanging out with Emily in Sweden, no? Maybe? Correct me if I'm wrong. The biggest trade you've ever given, and that is the biggest gift I've ever received. So thank you very much. Houseline was indeed there. What's up, Zine Rocks? Thanks for the follow. Hello and welcome, everyone. We are watching Emily Plays Chess, and guess what? She's playing chess at the Charlotte Open 2026. This is her second round. Her first round game was quite the doozy. I highly recommend you go check it out if you can. I'll actually share the link. This is her current game, so you'll have to do a little bit of digging to find her first round game. But it's worth it. She played a marvelous game. She is 1 out of 1, a perfect score, and she's back for more. Round 2, she's trying to create an advantage here. This has been a Jobava London, and she's played some interesting moves here. So here's the Jobava London. She gets the bishop pair. Now she launches g4, g5. She's going full send on the kingside attack, and that completely deters her opponent from kingside castling. So neither player has castled until now. Emily goes kingside, and that could pose some potential risks at the end of the day. She grabs on g6. Opponent takes back with the h-pawn, opening up the file. Now Emily wins a pawn, but she's not through the worst of it just yet. So she's got some simplification to do here. Rook e1 is a great move. At this stage, this is pinning the knight to the king, right? You don't want to deal with these discoveries. And now queen back to d8. This is attacking the g-pawn that she bravely pushed. Now here the computer really wants queen g4 to be played. That helps defend the g-pawn a bit. Also clears the way for rook 81. I feel like is a really strong idea. So we have instead knight to e4, defending the g-pawn and proposing a couple trades. So Emily is up a pawn. So if she can trade, especially trading queens, she's going to feel much better about her position because her king is a little weak. The king is feeling a little uncomfortable. She gave up her light square bishop, right? And she's also pushed that g-pawn. And because of those things, this leaves us with a pretty devastating long diagonal bishop that her opponent has, just really eyeing all of these light squares. Now, interestingly, though, the best move for her opponent is, in fact, to trade and allow this queen trade. because then black's going to activate the rook. Rook takes back on e4. And then, at the end of all of this, apparently there's knight takes g5 there. I feel like we could give that up and take here. You guys seeing all this? Are you guys following along? You would feel bad if you lost to a kid, but you wouldn't feel bad beating a kid? It's messed up, man. Just kidding. It's okay. Anywho. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, we could have a potential huge chance at a tactic here. Emily's opponent just casually playing knight takes g5, and look at that eval bar skyrocket. Emily immediately leans forward. She knows she's got something. She can taste it. Oh my god, she's already ready to pounce. Oh man, she's just put her hand out. She wants to take full advantage of this. She's got to sit on her hands a little bit. I want her to think about this. The best move is knight d6 check. She's going... She better not take this knight. She might. It's like... Okay. Oh my god, she's played it. She's gone for it. Knight d6. And tell me, where do you want that king? Oh my lord. Hold on. Hold on. King f8. It's not the end of it. Oh, it's the end of it. Guys, that's just a free piece. That's not just any free piece. That's that bishop. Oh my lordy, Emily. She's laying the hammer down with this tactic. Houseline bringing in the raid at the perfect time. Houseline bringing the energy. Oh man, and she just gave her opponent a look. Like I guess you missed this one, because that's gonna hurt. This guy, he's reaching for the king. He knows. King over, and now boom. Queen takes d5. Give me that free bishop. This is a great time to join in, Pizza. We missed you. But you're not missing these tactics. This is the highlight of the show right now. And we have more to come, because this game's not over yet. Emily's got to put the finishing touches on. There she goes. Free piece. Thank you very much. And this knight, you know, maybe they want to give us a check, but you also got to keep an eye out on f7. Because Emily's queen is not done yet. There's more pieces out there to take. And Emily, she can now bring the rook into the game. This is how you make an entrance. The queen, her first move of the game, connecting the rooks and snagging a bishop. Great move. Outstanding move. So, yeah. Marvelous. Gorgeous. This kid is shocked. Emily, she's out here taking names, taking bishops, and she's gonna close this one out, and she's gonna start her tournament a perfect 2 out of 2. I mean, guys, have we seen Emily at this level? Is this peak Emily? Is this the best she's ever played? I mean, my goodness. This guy thought he could just take a pawn. I mean, you always have to calculate the checks. Knight e4, and this really needed to be captured. They did not respect the knight check. They thought this was just defending the pawn. They were very focused. I mean, putting the knight here, bringing the queen backwards, and this is that that bait that Emily casted, it's like a fishing pole trick, but you know, you ever go fishing and you just leave the the fishing rod out and you just go and wait? That's what Emily did. She casted this many moons ago, and then she just left it there, dangling it over this kid's head. She even castled. She was like, let me even line up the king with the pawn. And this guy is like, ooh, let me go get that pawn. Then she's like, gotcha. Boom. Knight d6. And now this kid's hooked. And here comes a check. Knight into h3. Check. And she's going to move the king. She's got options. Where would you go? I'm probably going f1 if I'm being honest. And now Emily's threatening checkmate. So let's see what this kid's going to come up with here. There she goes, king f1, best move. Whenever you're getting checked by a knight, if your king is 2 diagonals away, then your king is essentially immune. If she steps up, there's a potential check. There's certainly at least this check. And if you go here, there's this check. But king here, and there's no more checks. So there's going to be no free tempos given out in this position. Emily, she's giving a slight smile. She's like, all right. You can tell she's like, it's time to resign. Why am I so chopped? That's probably unanswerable. Amazing commentary and Emily's strategy. Thank you, Joe and Jason and Lydia. Hello, my name is Joey. How's it going? What a nervous opponent. Yeah, I feel like every move he's been disappearing. He can't stand the heat. How many rounds is this? 3 rounds. No, there's only 2 rounds today, and I think there's 2 more rounds tomorrow. I'm not sure if there's more rounds or if that's it. I would just expect it to be more rounds. Oh my goodness, we're getting another raid from Melinda. Melinda Varga. Shout out to Melinda Varga. Thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had a great stream. You're tuning in. It's an amazing time. We've got Emily Plays Chess playing round 2 of the 2026 Charlotte Open. And she is absolutely dominating this game. So she won her first round, and she's on her path to her second victory in a row. She's going to have a perfect 2 out of 2 score. But, of course, we don't want to jinx her. The commentator's curse would be not so good. So, okay, Black has played the move queen to d7. And this does a lot. This defends the checkmate threat on f7, most importantly. But it also potentially looks at giving some more checks in the future. Emily here, I really like rook ad1. I think rook ad1 is just such a great, solid developmental move. But Emily, she's actually being quite forceful here. This is a very nice simplification move here. This is not only just grabbing a pawn, but it's also threatening not only a queen trade, but also the rook. So there are a lot of problems here for Black if they don't want to trade queens. In fact, it might as well be impossible to not trade queens. If you really wanted to not trade queens, you could play queen d8, defending the rook and avoiding the queen trade. However, that would leave checkmate in 1 available. So the best move for Black at this point is to just trade queens, and that's probably the last thing you want to do when you're down a piece. But this move is extremely forceful, and it looks like Emily's going to have some really smooth sailing from this point on in the game. Once the queens are off the board, it's going to be very difficult for Black to create any sort of counterplay down a piece. So This is a fantastic move for Emily on her way to converting another win and just eliminating any counterplay, any threats. Getting that queen off the board is extremely important. So I really liked rook 81. That's just such a super solid move, bringing the rooks into the center. But queen takes b7. It's a free pawn. She gets the queen trade. And here she's going to take back. And there's really nothing black can do. If Emily continues to play it like this, especially, I mean, she might not only win this game, but she might even win the whole thing. She's not done yet, guys. She's got more games tomorrow. Rubato and Moran, thank you both for the follows. Hello and welcome. Hope you're all doing well. Absolute pleasure to be here watching and witnessing some of the best chess Emily has ever played. Congrats to Melinda reaching 2,200. That's amazing. Is that Blitz? Is that Bullet? Rapid? I am 2,200 Bullet right now, but I'm trying to work on my Blitz. Again, I just got back to 2,100 the other night. So 2,200 is the next up for me. We have rook to c8. Going after the c pawn. I feel like c4 is just a really nice move from Emily. And there she goes. Also, what's funny is rook 81 still. She could bait the pawn. And that even could help her force a couple more pieces off the board. But c4, I mean, extremely solid. Nothing wrong with that. What's up, Alpoca? Good to see you. Welcome in. Hello, I just started Chess Online 3 weeks ago. My goal is to see where I can go. Hopefully reach 800 to 1,000 one day. That's awesome, Red Falcon. Welcome to the chess world. There's a lot of awesome, supportive, kind people. It's always good to have more chess players joining us. Emily looks so confused. What just happened? She's looking around like... She was like, did I miss something? Anyways. Yeah. Opponent, I feel like after every move, he's gotten up. And honestly, I get it. Like, sometimes it's hard to sit still for a long time. Especially at that age. But it is tough when you're completely winning and you feel like you have to sit there for another hour. What's the rating of each player? That's a great question. I'm actually not sure. But I did want to finish my thought about Red Falcon. You're saying hopefully reach 800 to 1,000 one day. I think that you should definitely strive to be the best that you can. I think you could do it. I think that anyone can do it, to be honest, with enough time and energy. I think 800 and 1,000 are both very solid goals. I think 1,000 is especially satisfying, getting 4 digits for the first time. It's the 5th digit that's really difficult. I would say that that's a lofty goal for sure. But 4 digits, that's definitely more manageable. I'm still working on that 5th digit in my rating. So we'll see. We'll see if I get there. But for now, I think any goal for your rating is a good goal. I think just playing and having fun is probably the most important thing, because that's what it's really all about. So just keep that in mind. I wouldn't worry too much about the exact ratings or anything. As long as you're enjoying the process, then the rating will come. right? So if you're not enjoying it, then it becomes more of a grind, and it's not as fun anymore. So just take it, you know, one day at a time, one step at a time, one game at a time, one move at a time. And honestly, enjoy it. You know, I was talking with Uncle Jesse on her stream the other day. She was playing some games, and she's going through like a whirlwind of emotion, like in just an absolute roller coaster in her game. She's playing Rapid, she's playing Blitz, and in Rapid I think she's like 1400, but in Blitz she's like 900. So it's a bit of a difference, which is normal. But there are games where she's like completely losing and she's like freaking out. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm losing." And we've all been there, right? And then her opponent makes this egregious blunder, and all of a sudden she's winning, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm winning," and she's freaking out. So it's like either way, you're gonna. She's freaking out over everything. Which honestly, I mean, listen, we've all seen some Emily streams before. Like, we've all been there, done that. But I think it's funny watching someone um, that, you know, maybe they're not playing the best moves, but sometimes it works out in the end. And there's just levels to chess, right? Like, you don't really see that so much when players are playing perfect chess, right? Um, that being said, frankly, no one plays perfect chess, and even the top grandmasters, you could see these crazy blunders. I was watching Julian versus Gotham earlier this morning, actually, when I woke up. Did anyone else watch that match? I mean, they're both international masters, but there was like this. I think it was like the second rapid game or something. I'm not sure. But it's like that eval bar was just swinging left and right. Technically, I guess it's going up and down. Man, just the thought of a horizontal eval bar is kind of freaking me out a little bit. But anyways, um, my point is enjoy whatever rating you're at. Just enjoy it. Like, I think it's like it's fun to have these games where like anything can happen no matter the eval rating. Like at certain levels, if you just make one mistake, that's kind of the end of the game. And you know, stakes are maybe a little higher, or the blunders are a bit more serious. Uh, it's still fun. It's a different like it's like chess at different ratings. It's all different flavors basically. You know, it's really fun and exciting at any level I think to watch, but other people like certain things can be more entertaining, right? Certain moments and experiences, and you don't really get that at the same way at every rating level. But ultimately, chess is chess. It's the same game. It's just at a different level. So, yeah. It all comes down to perspective. It's like whatever you appreciate. You can appreciate anything, really, just depending on how you look at it. Okay, so there's been a couple moves. This is hit. This is hit. But Emily is so winning, she could afford to lose a pawn. Frankly, she could afford to lose an exchange. I was almost going to say a rook, but not a rook. But no, I don't think Emily's going to give up an exchange. She's going to move this rook somewhere. She might lose this pawn, but that's going to be a-okay. That's going to be not a problem. Wow, she does not move the rook. She gives a check, which is a very good move. Nonetheless, she's forcing the king to g8. There is no other move, so king g8 has been played. And now she'll probably save the rook. And she can do that by lifting the rook. She might lose this pawn, but honestly, I really like rook to e4, and I'll tell you why. It's because we blunder the fork this way. That would be great. No, I was going to say that we're covering after knight takes. We don't have to take it. We could just play king to g2, and then the rook covers this square. But of course, we don't want to blunder a fork, so... yeah, rook e4 would be a tremendous blunder, actually. So let's hope that she doesn't do that. I personally was tempted to do it at first because I'm looking at this pawn, but we can't lose sight of all of the checks. So the checks are very important. You're 1700 in chess.com Blitz. What elo do you think you would be if you played over the board FIDE? So I don't know is my official response, but I'll give you some context. My chess.com Blitz currently is about 2100, and my FIDE is about 1740. Okay, rook e7. She's going all out here, all the way down. No forks to be blundered. Really aggressive. Honestly, like, look at this pawn, though. Also, rook here. I would love if we could double our rooks and just try to trade everything, but this knight is kind of annoying. But the knight might just move very quickly soon, so we'll see. Shout out to PMD, by the way. Good to see ya. Hope you're doing well. They use the horizontal eval during Title Tuesday. I guess I might have seen it. I must have seen it. Okay, knight takes on h2. That is with check. Now, I think that she has two pretty obvious candidate moves here. Both are pretty good. Even the other king moves are going to be fine. Probably not king into a square that you can get checked again. But otherwise, Emily cannot blunder here. Even if she makes an illegal move, they would force her to go back and make a legal move. So that move is essentially blunder proof. But okay, she has played king to g2, so that's going to take away knight f3. It is threatening to just simply take the knight. Even trading rooks also is just really smart. I'm expecting knight to g4. And after knight to g4, I would consider playing rook h1. We would lose another pawn, which maybe is unnecessary. Still completely winning for white. But after here, we might consider just playing f3. And that forces the knight back to one of these two squares. Knight to h6 is a little annoying because you can go to f5 perhaps. But the good news is we can still come in with the rook and try to trade rooks. And also, all of these pieces are defended. There's really good synergy here between these pieces. The bishop defends the rook defends the knight, and the knight defends the bishop. These are like the three amigos right here. This is like an impenetrable connection. You thought I was 1900 FIDE? I'm about 1900 USCF. Okay, so king g2, the knight has gone to g4, and she does follow up with rook to h1. I love this. She is losing a pawn, but honestly, she's completely crushing. I mean, probably if I was playing, I wouldn't give up the pawn that easily, just 'cause. But it's fine. Knight takes, free pawn with check. Why not? She's gonna go back to g2, most likely. But yeah, she's gotten the rook off the board, which is really helpful for simplifying things. Yeah, maybe she could have played f3 first, and maybe the knight lives and the rook stays on the board. But you know, we could still try this at some point later, and I think it would have been fine either way. But yeah, black can say, hey, at least I got another pawn out of the position, and these are 3 connected pass pawns. Yeah, one of them is doubled, so it's not a perfect position. But, you know, if you give up a pawn here and there multiple times in a row, then that could become a problem at the end of the day. So, you know, you don't want to have these little mistakes and inaccuracies adding up, right? But assuming Emily just keeps it to the minimum, she's going to be A-okay. I think that she's going to be fine. I think Emily should probably... Let's see where she wants to go. Maybe she goes to C5. What am I going for here? I don't even know. Maybe you just push the C pawn. Maybe you go rook to C7 and try to get C6. Like, or pawn push knight here to push the pawn through. The fun thing is that there's many ways to win. And sometimes that makes it difficult to make a move because you're just so winning. You're like, man, I could win so many different ways. How am I supposed to choose just one way? But yeah, coming up with a plan is really smart. So like trying to figure out a way to trade off rooks is a good idea. So like rook here, rook here. Probably rook here is the most forceful. Because you're just coming here, right? So, and then, yeah, I mean, that pawn is just going to be absolutely zipping down the board. What's up, Bouncing? Good to see you. Yeah, I forgot, honestly, about the whole 1400 minimum. So I wasn't even thinking about that. But yeah, I mean, FIDE rating in the US is, I feel like, hard to come by generally because everyone just plays mostly just USCF until you're like at the higher levels. You haven't seen this man in ages. Bouncing's been here and there in some miscellaneous Twitch chats, so always good to see him tuning in. What is the difference in games played, Radio John? I'm not sure. Who you're talking about? Yeah, shout out to USCF. Just always keeping us on our toes on ways to surprise us. He's going to go for the pawns. Yeah, if this rook can somehow activate and get down here, you know, like, that's something to think about. If you go here, you're giving up this, in a way. But not really, because you can just come back. That's why I like rook d7 a lot, because rook d7, you're threatening this. And this rook does not have many squares, right? Maybe the rook goes here, for example. But it's not really threatening anything. You can just play c5, and then the rook's cooked, basically. So rook here, we're threatening this check. If the rook goes here immediately, we can immediately just go here. I guess the rook comes here, though. So I would just go, like, here, if this, just c5. And, yeah, life seems pretty good right there. We're threatening next to just trade rooks. And the only other thing I can think of is king here. And then we try that. and then there's just like this and then this again. And I mean, next we're gonna go here. So yeah, but that's one idea. So just trade rooks, right? That's one thing. The other thing is, I mean, we could just start with pushing the pawn and just trying to get this guy here and still going for this idea. So, okay, if I look at the computer, it's saying the best move is bishop to a3. Maybe just clearing the way for the knight, right? There's also bishop to g3, also clearing the way for the knight. Right, any bishop move, I guess, we're threatening some sort of rook takes, knight fork kind of thing, perhaps. What's up, Justin? How's it going? What's up, Physic? Easy win? Well, it's Emily's making it look easy, but this has definitely been hard-fought game so far. So she's been able to get the better of him with some nice tactics earlier. What's up, Borat? Good to see you. North Carolina Open champion. Did you just win? Congrats, dude. That's huge. Do you, by chance, have 6 fingers on your right hand? I would show you, but then people might think that I am AI if I did. So there's just pros and cons of doing that. I could prove to you that I have 6 fingers, but then you might not think that I'm real. So got your first plaque. That's awesome, dude. Oh, back in November. Man, that was so last year. When are you gonna win something recently, you know? Okay, so Emily's bringing the king on up. There's gonna be knight h6, probably. But yeah, king f3, it's bringing the king more towards the center, but I don't think it's necessarily a good thing. She's kind of helping the knight reroute, so really, if you want to like digest this position for all that it's worth, it's like black has 2 pieces left, really, and white has 3 pieces, and so 3 pieces is greater than 2 pieces. So if you could trade one or both of the pieces, then it becomes extremely simple to win. So the only way you can't win is if black somehow mounts a comeback with what few pieces they have remaining. That's why you want to trade them off, because then that becomes impossible, essentially. I mean, of course, these pawns are still here. But yeah, the farther up you bring the king, usually in games, that's a good thing because the king controls a lot of space. But sometimes, like earlier in the game, it's bad because your king can get attacked a lot more easily, and it's not great to get checked, you know, depending on your king's options. Here, the king, I mean, there's not a single thing within this radius of the king, which is, I mean, this king, what a luxury that is. He's got the whole board to himself, really. But yeah, maybe some point these pawns come down and maybe we get checked earlier or whatever. It's not a big deal. I think the bigger deal is that we're helping this knight get to a more active square faster when we could have invested some time trying to simplify further, right? Getting the rook off the board. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty like low stakes environment right now on the board for our king. So it's not like Emily does not have to be perfect. That's the important thing. I will say this though, Emily, she's basically perfect. She's been playing really well. And I already mentioned this earlier, I'll say it again, no one plays perfectly. But Emily, she can win it a million different ways, and she's showing us one of them. And we're all just here to support and find out how she wants to close this one out. So I really like rook d7. That's my choice. I'm a fan of rook d7, and now the computer likes it. The move prior, it liked moving the bishop. His Val user, thanks for the follow, and Miracek Premier Fanis, thank you as well. Welcome. You're scared that she's gonna keep moving the king? I mean, she could win with the king if she wants. Who am I to judge? I don't think the kid is. I don't think any amount of engine can help the kid at this point. I mean, things would have to go seriously wrong for Emily. Is it a meme or partly true? So it's definitely been witnessed like multiple times, so it's definitely a thing. The most recent tournament I played in at the North American Open, there's a dude at the table outside the bathroom, and he's got like that wand that you can try to detect things with. And there's a sign that says no phones in the bathroom. So it's definitely a thing that's real, and it's definitely something that is not allowed to be obviously using your phone during a tournament. It's a big no-no. So in fact, I would say every tournament I've played in, if you're caught with your phone, like if your phone goes off, like if someone calls you and your phone rings during a game, that's essentially grounds for immediate forfeiture. Like your game just becomes disqualified. Okay, so as Zach has predicted, we have another king move. So the king is coming on up. She really likes that everything's defended here, I think. But if I had to ask myself where the king is going, I could not answer that question. I don't really know what the king's future is. But yes, this knight has done like the one plan that it has, and now he's attacking this stuff. It's really funny though, because like black is threatening to trade material, which is like the last thing that black wants to do. So black is just kind of helping Emily out. It's actually helping Emily play a good move, rook d7. So that's pretty cool. Now the downside though is that our bishop is hit, and we don't actually threaten to trade rooks because the knight will then be overloaded defending two squares at the same time. So this is going to force Emily to play good moves. It's going to put the rook on d7, and then she's going to have to play c5. And then we're back on track to our winning plan. So the thing is, we could have done this earlier without moving the king. We could have kept the king here, and I have already done these things. But it's okay. They say it's better to be late than to never do the thing. So she wasn't doing the thing, but now she's going to do the thing. She's going to play rook d7 here. Boom. Voila. There it is. Now, again, she's not threatening to trade rooks anymore, because this knight now is attacking our bishop. The board being lopsided. You know, it's funny. I could rotate the entire stream slightly just to make the board better. But then I think it would actually make things a little worse if I had to guess. So I think I'm going to leave it how it is. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know how to rotate the source. I've seen it happen. I know people can do it. I don't know how to rotate it specifically. But that's okay. Anyhow, rook d7 has been played. Now, black doesn't want to take the bishop, but they might just do it because they're like, I mean, what else am I going to do, right? I do use OBS. You think she's going to play... Oh, you mean rook c7. Yeah, that would have been bad, huh? You know, I was thinking about, like, what if she does go for rook d8 and trade and lose a piece? Like, there's a really good chance that she's still winning because of just how fast these pawns can be, which honestly is great. You want to be so winning that you have essentially blunder insurance. And, I mean, don't even get me started on insurance because I mean, these insurance companies are making so much money off of us. It's ridiculous. But maybe I should become an insurance salesman and insure people that make chess blunders. I'll be like, hey, pay me this monthly subscription, and for every blunder you make, we're gonna refund some of your elo. Dude, I'd make a living off that. I'd be making bank. Be like, listen, every time you blunder, like I'll throw a game. You get your rating back. I'm gonna ensure your chess rating essentially. No, that's just cheating. I can't do that. I'm sorry. It's a good idea though. I mean, if someone else wants to do that, I mean, imagine how much Magnus could charge. His blunder insurance premiums would be through the roof. Okay, so opponent, she's gonna, he's gonna give her the opportunity to blunder a piece, I think. Um, and wisely, he's not taking this bishop because he knows he shouldn't trade. But yeah, this is a big moment of truth. I really want to see c5 here. I think this bishop needs just a little bit more protection here. The funny thing is that this bishop is the most defended piece of white's. And we need to defend it a little bit more because we want to trade rooks, and that's going to remove both of these pieces. So then the bishop would be left defenseless. So c5 it is. Defend that bishop one more time. Don't trade rooks. She just brings the bishop back. She comes back. And now she is threatening to trade rooks. She's also threatening to fork the pieces. So that's pretty cool. She could force some more trades. Trades are good. We like trading things. But yeah, I mean, the c-pawn push, though, is still available. Still was a strong move. I think now, I mean, this guy can come up, maybe, and stay on the board a little bit longer. So, yeah. She still has knight d6. I get, well, let's see. Maybe, I feel like knight here and here is also an interesting idea. When this pawn pushes, this weakens the 7th a little bit. This pawn, though, is defended by the knight. I forgot about that. So, okay. We got some more work to do, but that is a-okay. So the king steps up. So the king is saying, you cannot get my rook off the board. So we can see our opponent is putting up as much resistance as possible. And so that's why it's like earlier when she was moving the king, it's like, oh, this is completely winning. You don't necessarily have to like play perfectly or whatever. There's a lot of ways to win. But this is showing you it's not so easy. It's making things a little tricky, right? We can't simplify so fast and so easily now, right? If we had put the pawn on c5, and if we had put the rook on d7, maybe like 2 moves earlier, then this would be much harder for black to defend against. And notice it was the king that made 2 moves. Those 2 moves could have been the difference between getting a rook off the board or keeping the rook on the board. Ooh, Ellen Viking with a huge raid of 103. Shout out to Ellen. Thank you so much. Welcome. How are you doing? Happy 2026. We're watching Emily Plays Chess. Play chess. And she is playing chess at the Charlotte Open. This is her second round. Okay, opponent, he goes with the rook move. Oh, he hasn't lifted his finger off, so he might go some. He's juking us out. It's part of his antics here. Oh, he doesn't know which square to go. He's toying with us now. I think he let go. Can we get a replay? Can we get the zoom in? I'm gonna need to call a ref. Oh, he let go right there. For sure. Okay. All right, he left it there, so it didn't matter at the end. But it's important, when you let go of the piece, you got to leave it there. I hope she wins. She's on her path to victory. She is absolutely winning this. She is up a piece. She's up a bishop, in fact. And she won her first round as well earlier today, actually. She's not only played 1 game, but now she's on game 2 in the same day. And she's going to get 2 wins. And holy smokes, you guys. Is this not... Wait. Okay, king here and the bishop came back. Now the rook came here. So the bishop is actually attacking this pawn because this pawn is pinned. Because the rook is pinning it to the king. So rook here is defending this pawn. And now, Emily, she is bringing all of the pieces together. She is threatening to trade knights and to win a pawn, technically. So black can either trade, which is not good because they're down, or they can try to run their knight away and see if they can keep the material on. So let's see what they end up doing. Probably they'll go to one of these 2 squares, if I had to guess. Whoa, he trades. Okay, that's really helpful because that's 1 less piece on the board. And now black can try to push these pawns. There's a check. They do exactly just that. I would consider moving the king up the board because then, the more these pawns push, the more likely they will be to fall. So this pawn is defending this pawn, which is attacked twice. But if we get checked by that pawn, then this pawn's no longer to be defended. So we can go back. Now that pawn's hanging. If they check us again, then this pawn is hanging. So this is a good move. She can also just go to g4 right away, right? Which is also just a great move. If we get checked, we take that. So we don't even have to allow that check. This pawn is hanging too, by the way. But yeah, I really wish we just push this pawn home. Because at that stage, black really has to divert the resources they have to just stopping this pawn, which is really just the rook, which is their last piece at this point. But yes, Emily is in check. She's going to move her king somewhere. Let's see where she goes. So she goes to g4. I like g4 a lot. We're not even getting checked here. And yeah, she just takes a sip of water and she waits for her opponent's next move. Let's see what he does. Does he push for the check or does he go elsewhere? If he puts the king up, now that pawn's pinned, actually, so he can't even push. If he tries to save this pawn, again, I just really like pushing this, or maybe she goes rook down to d7. So no, instead he goes rook to e8 and trying to activate the rook this way. So she could take this pawn, or she could push this pawn, or she could move the king, Um, there's a lot of ways to win. She could bring the rook back, which I'm not the biggest fan of. It's a little passive. Um, but yeah, just pushing P, as they say. Why do they say that? I don't even know. P stands for pawn, right? Um, Dan the chess man. Joe, just join. Looked like Emily ran away with this one. She is currently running. She's running her way to victory. What are the limits to this chat? Um, I mean, I don't even know. I don't think you're allowed to post links. Um, I don't know. What are you trying to say? Okay, so Emily's brought her king back. Yeah, Emily's really assuring this rook does not infiltrate anywhere, and this bishop and this king are boxing this rook out, and this rook even. So the rook has 2 squares on the entire e file. Um, so yeah, Emily, she's playing this slowly, but she's not taking risks. She's not allowing the rook to activate. So this is a really solid move. And you can tell this kid is frustrated. He's got his hair in his hand. He's tapping the piece on the table. He's like, man, I really wanted to put my rook down to e2. And here we go. Here comes down the claw. Oh. And there goes a pawn push. And there it is. So now there's a lot of good moves. I think like rook d7 is really enticing, I'd say. Again, she can just push that pawn home. Honestly, this it's not over. It's not over. It's potentially even far from over because she's going to get checked and this rook is going to find its way in somehow. So yeah, I mean, you can't underestimate your opponent and their chances. Like, these are 2 connected pass pawns. And yeah, Emily has not been advancing this pawn. So she's been playing a little passively, which allows her opponent to now play aggressively, right? So if she had pushed this pawn, this rook would not be so active. This rook would have to tend to this pawn. So black is really working well with what they have left. It's not much, but it's still something. And Emily, she's been playing a bit of defense, but she has not been aggressive enough, I think, to really like keep black on their heels. So she was super aggressive at the start of the game earlier on, and that's what allowed her to win material and win a piece, right? And then after she won the piece, she's been coasting her way, and looks like she's gonna play rook d7. I think she's gonna go after this, but she's hesitating. She's holding back. She's reserving herself. She's thinking, okay, I'm gonna get checked. I'm gonna have to move the king. Their rook can move somewhere, right? So like, am I gonna be able to be safe? Can I do this? So she's like, hold on, I have some time. I can think it over. I don't have to rush. Obviously, when you rush, you can blunder. And that's the last thing she wants to do. It stands for pawn in this case. It's right. You don't know. You don't want to know. Okay, so she goes down instead, actually. And again, this is a bit of a passive move. Here, it's like, you know, this pawn is hit, and if that pawn pushes, then that pawn is hit. Honestly, this move is kind of annoying because it's like a fork. Um, but yeah, I think Emily's just kind of letting black just keep advancing slowly but surely. I think that it's not going to work out in the end for black. Um, but yeah, we're just giving black some chances to do some things. Probably is not enough for them to really come back from down a piece. Um, but yeah, you don't want to keep giving your opponent all these moves because maybe they get something to break through at the end. You're getting nervous. Yeah. They say the hardest thing in chess is winning a one game. So this is what you would consider a winning position, right? But you still have to prove it. So, and that's when you don't want to mess up. So it can be a little nerve-wracking. But so far, Emily has proved that she has ice in her veins. She is very confident. She's playing confidently, um, which is really great to see. So we're witnessing Emily play some of the best chess that she's played, which is really awesome. And I think Emily is just going to continue going up from here. So she's been improving a lot. Parallax saying that she could have sacked the pawn for two bishops. That's probably true, but that's also just risky. And she doesn't need to take risks. Um, so there's a lot of ways to convert. And yeah, she didn't take the most direct path forward, just like pushing the c pawn. But she's definitely made progress. She's traded the knights off, right? Which is good. And I think she's really forcing black to react. She's making some threats against the pawns. It is annoying, though, that, she can get checked. Black can defend the pawns. They can push their other pawn, right? Okay. But I do think that like those moves are going to run out eventually. Of course, the easiest thing, and it's easier said, watching from the outside perspective than when you're actually in it, playing it. But the best thing to do is create your own threats, right? If Emily just plays c5 right now, this just sends a direct message of, you know, I'm going to promote this pawn, right? And the only way black can stop it is with this rook. So if Emily creates this threat and this rook has to defend, then her king, so much weight is lifted off his shoulders, right? The king came here specifically to keep the rook out. But if you push the pawn, that's going to indirectly keep the rook out because the consequences of the rook activating are that it becomes much more difficult to defend the passed pawn, right? If you imagine a world where we play like c5 and our king is still here and they push the rook here, if we push here and they try to, take this pawn or get behind the bishop or whatever, then we just play rook c5. We can push and like that's gonna be lights out. Um, but okay, so what what did I miss? The bishop, or no, the rook moved here. Okay, she's offering a trade. So yes, the pawn is pushed to defend its buddy, and now she's going rook e5, and now the rook is cut off from the e file, but probably the rook will go to the d file, and that's exactly what they've done. And now the rook's threatening this, which is a fork, but there is a defense. There is rook e3. So again, c5 is totally valid. Rook d5 is maybe also a move to consider. Rook d5, and if they go back to the e file, we can go bishop e5, and we're just controlling the e and d files, which is pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, black's made some progress for sure with their pawns. If we compare this position to, like, this position, and remember that f-pawn I had mentioned we could have pushed, right? But yeah, here, black is all the way back here. And we could have left the king on g2. So if you count, like, the number of king moves white's made, it's a lot. And that adds up. Like, those could have been moves that we've invested in pawn pushes and trying to trade off the other pieces, right? So we've gotten checked now once. That's a king move. Okay, so only once, but we're still checkable, right? The king, remember, was on g2. And we moved it how many times? If we count the number of king moves. These first two were definitely unnecessary, I would say. So that's 1, 2. This is 3. This is 4 times, right? That's a lot of moves. And they add up for sure. Like, this pawn is 4 moves away. So every move you make is like an investment. And you have to be efficient. So this king, by the way, started on g2, and it's made 4 moves, and now it's on f3, right? So, oops, I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, my point is, like, maybe 3 of those moves were unnecessary. Maybe the king only needed to move once. So, is the kid just not notating anymore? Honestly, I don't know, and we have a good question. What if he doesn't notate? So there are some rules that you have to notate on your time. If you're behind, you have to catch up, and it takes time to do that. There are, like, potentially worse penalties, and to be honest, I don't even know what all they are. Okay, so the king has moved again. Let's see, king e3, right? And then black put their king up twice. I must have missed a couple moves. Oh, she finally pushed c5. And now she's played bishop d4. So, yeah, my apologies for missing some moves. You can technically be behind 1 move. Okay. So what happens if you're 2 moves behind, I guess, is the question. Okay, and the king is moving up the board. Yeah, this is really starting to get annoying. But, you know, let's see. She should play c6. She should keep pushing, right? Okay, there, you might have missed that, but that arbiter just, maybe that's an arbiter. I'm assuming that's an arbiter, but they just handed a spare square sheet. So that's in case the game goes really long and the paper fills up, essentially. Wow, she's done it. c6. So now she's going in high gear. She's pushing that pawn, and this pawn is 1 move away with a tempo on the rook, which is really valuable, because this rook is really annoying. Because our king is the only piece defending the bishop, and the rook is hitting the bishop, and our king can get checked, which is also annoying. And that's exactly what black has done. They've given us a check. And that means the king has to stick around this bishop. Although, you know what's funny? We don't actually have to. We could abandon the bishop because after the pawn pushes again, this rook can't get behind the pawn. But you do have to be aware of where you're going to get checked is the problem. So, for example, if we follow the... Well, okay, Emily's already just played king e4, which is honestly just simple enough, right? We're just still defending this. Black can try to push this, but we come here. And that's going to force rook c8. So that's already a move where black is not pushing. And look at this bishop too, by the way. It's guarding this pawn. We can come here. But this maybe gets a little tricky. All right, we're giving black an opportunity to then push. And now this is actually winning for black. That's how really close this could be if Emily doesn't pay attention. So there's a couple moves here we can make that defends this pawn, right? We can go here as well. And now the rook is locked. And so that's what pushing our pawn gives us, is it basically takes this rook out of the equation. And now we can just rely on this bishop to try to stop these pawns. But yeah, there was definitely a easier way about all of this. I may be missing some moves here. So, okay, it looks like... Wow, did the king really move? Hold on, I have to go back. So we got checked, we went up to e4. And now it looks like the king has made it here for some reason. Honestly, I have no idea why. Why would the king go there? So weird. And now rook to c5 is very strong, just getting behind the passed pawn. I would have liked c7 first because it's with a tempo. But, you know, that's okay. But yeah, can anyone explain king h4 to me? I mean, he's getting out of the way of the g-pawn, but g-pawn, you lose your f-pawn. Yeah, Ellen, are we learning the notation? That's cool. Yeah. Honestly, chess is so cool. It's so cool to, like, if you've only played chess online and, like, you go to your first tournament, it's a whole different world. Okay, so king check. Now, we can go down to f3. And if we get checked, we grab this pawn. Otherwise, she could block, but this pawn might run, but not really. Honestly, bishop e5 is going to be perfectly reasonable as well, because the rook defends it too. Oh, she goes with the rook. Yeah, this is just like some slight inaccuracies. It's not going to be like deadly or anything. But it's like, I think what it is really is we're getting low on the clock, right? So moves have to come faster, which means you have to think less, right? And so that's all very natural. But the rook just moved here and now has to come back, right? That is, you're spending moves. Like if we had pushed the pawn, the rook would have to come here. But okay, where exactly were we? We were here. So she blocks with the rook, and now the rook comes here. Now we're gonna have to come back with the rook. She's gonna have to play rook c5. She might go e6 maybe. No, she comes back. I like this. She's gonna risk getting checked again, but she's gonna find a better move. It's important that we don't repeat. If you repeat the position 3 times, it's gonna be a draw, and that's exactly what black should do. This is really smart. They give the same exact check. Now, it's important that she doesn't block with the rook. I don't think that would be 3 times repetition at that point, but black would definitely block or go back. And then if she comes back, then it's probably gonna be some sort of issue. But okay, she finds a good move here, just putting the king back. There's no check here because of the bishop. Check here, we just grab this pawn, right? Honestly, this might be the best move because then you get like another check potentially. Um, I don't think that's good though, because we could just take that, right? And we'd be threatening the last pawn. So these pawns could drop like flies if black starts pushing them. Okay, so the rook comes back, and now she should just push the c pawn, and annoyingly the rook's on a light square, so the bishop on a dark square could never force the rook off that square, the promotion square. But white still has a little bit of work left before they can really push that pawn through. Okay, interestingly, Emily goes bishop to f6, and this is a great move actually. This is a fantastic move because it pins the g pawn. So first and foremost, black can't even give a check. That's one thing. Second thing, this pawn will drop with check, and when that pawn falls, so too will this pawn. So entirely demolishing this pawn structure is huge for Emily. This one move. This pawn is indefendable, unless black wants to sacrifice the rook, which would basically just be game over. So anyone that was nervous, you can rest a little easier now. Obviously, it's not done just yet, but this is a huge move. Okay, so he's played king down to h5. Now, I feel like bishop takes is probably going to be good enough. Rook takes comes with check, but the rook's going to have to come right back, I think, to defend this pawn. Everything's winning, essentially. I don't think there's a move she can make to blunder. She takes with the rook. The king is going to go up. If the king comes down, then you're walking into this discovery check, which is really annoying. In fact, king down, and you're actually getting mated in 2. So right here, black has 2 moves. King down gets a mate in 2. King up is going to prolong the game the longest. But Emily's going to come straight back, defend the c pawn, and then she's going to win the f pawn, and she's going to push this guy, and she's going to win that pawn, and she's going to win the game. So, yeah, king up, best move by far. And yes, Emily comes straight back. She holds onto the c pawn. Now, this pawn you can't defend because it's going to get taken. Even if rook here, we could even just ignore the threat and just push the pawn. And again, that rook is going to have to come straight back. But also, we have now check and takes. Yeah, life is great. King goes down here. We have king takes pawn. I really just want to see c7, to be honest. But okay, she takes. She's taking her sweet time. Yeah. No rush. King down. c7's looking awfully good right now. 1 square away. Honestly, you guys, we're watching a 1 game in slow motion, basically. Why isn't he surrendering? Because you don't have to. He's just a kid. And even if he wasn't a kid, I think people are entitled to play on. I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily. Am I paid for this, Senna? I mean, no, I'm volunteering. I'm doing this for fun. Okay, king up. I really think she should play c7 now. c7 looks awfully good. Never surrender. I agree. There's always stalemate. Oh man, she's going with another pawn. The point of c7 is that the rook could never move, and you're one square away from promoting. Now, of course, she doesn't have to play it. If the rook ever moves, she could then play c7, and then the rook has to come straight back. So, yeah. But still, you can't promote the pawn without playing c7, so you might as well. What are your thoughts on c7? Oh man, don't even get me started. I love c7. I've always been a c7 fan since day one. What's she looking at? Oh, look at this. The rook put itself on c7. But now she can now she can, I like bishop d8 so much. Bishop d8 and then c7. So let's see it. Let's see. She's got to force this rook off. Go Emily. Yes, she's on the brink of victory. Did she move the pawn 2 squares? Did she just do that? Honestly, pretty baller. Oh my god. This is why over the board chess is just so amazing. How do I triangulate this? Hold on. Boom. Here we go. These were all the moves that were played. But oh my god, dude, listen. Don't let anyone tell you how to play the game. You can pave your own path to victory. She never needed to play c7. She's got a b pawn. That b pawn, you guys remember earlier I was talking about the b pawn, saying nobody cared about the b pawn, you know? Nobody paid attention to the b pawn. Well, guess what? You can never count someone out. Never judge a book by its cover. That b pawn, this whole time he had some superpowers that we didn't know about. That man flew down the board, man. This guy is setting a record for how. Honestly, though, she pushed b3, so like the first move, he could have gone 2 squares. He was just saving it up. He was holding on to it for later. You know. So that's all fair. Like that's fine. Did you even clip it? Honestly, I wasn't even looking, guys. I'm sorry. But I think it's great that we've been harping on c7, and she might not even need it. She's just going to promote the b pawn. The b pawn was the hero from the get-go. What happens if he complains after the match? That's too late. And also, like, they've played so like moves after that now. There's like no chance that he would like, let's say he catches it and he's like, oh, you played an illegal move. I think the worst case scenario, they go back to the last legal position and maybe they add some time to his clock. That is worst case scenario. What is this move? Oh, now she's attacking the... Yeah, the rook is defending the bishop. Okay, so maybe she plays c7 after all. But yeah, or maybe she doesn't. Maybe she just pushes the b pawn. Why hasn't he resigned? Well, maybe this pawn will play an illegal move and do something. You never know. This is not the first time I've seen something illegal happen in commentating. And also, I mean, I've played an illegal move before in the last decade, I'll say. Kiki, thanks for the follow. I actually played a game against someone that Emily knows. I played an illegal move against one of the Charlotte chess crew. What was the illegal move? Her B pawn went 2 squares from B3 to B5. And this B pawn, let's see, what did he play? King down, pawn up. So yeah, she just was like, I don't need the C pawn when my B pawn can go 2 squares. How funny would it be if she put the pawn straight to B8, this pawn? But oh wow, hanging the rook. Dang, the guy might force her to play C7. I swear, when she plays C7, we're gonna have a party. I'm gonna lose my mind. She might play C7 right now. This could be that C pawn's moment. Yeah, honestly, it's true. Nothing's illegal until it's caught. That's so bad. I'm still talking about chess, guy. I'm talking about chess. Wait, hold on. She didn't push either pawn. She's giving a rook check. Honestly, that's probably the best move. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Well, no, there was... Okay, you know what's funny? King f6. Oh God. I thought the video was gonna cut out. I was about to lose it. Okay, check, king up, and now she makes a queen. So yeah, she didn't need the c pawn. King is here defending that pawn. So if Emily runs out of time, she will lose the game because of this last pawn. So all Emily has to do is not get flagged, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna be in the clear. So let's see. It's probably mate in 2. Oh, she goes to d7. So this is a mate in 3. Unfortunately, she's kind of blocking the rook. She probably should have gone here. Wait, but then king here. What was the mate in 2? There's probably a lot of mate in 2s. No, queen c7 is mate in 2. Queen c7, king e8. Wait, but all right, it doesn't matter. Here, and here. Voila, it was mate in 2. I guess he could have gone to f8, but you know, we won't worry about it too much. So, GG's, handshake, and now we set the board back up. This is like the last game on these DGT boards at this table. So this one went the distance. This was over 70 moves. And so you can see it did take the second score sheet. So the score sheet, I believe, typically has 60 spaces for the moves there. Yeah, Ellen, world-class arm wrestler, she destroyed me. Is there a delay? The chess.com board, I think, has a delay. But, oh, you guys get my recommendations for my YouTube videos. You saw that, wait. Well, no, it's okay. There was, there was an Eric Rosen video and an old school RuneScape music playlist. So that really gives you an insight to what I'm doing on YouTube. Anyways, does she have more matches? Yes. She will play 2 more games tomorrow. So if you are invested in seeing Emily's chess journey for the rest of this tournament, be sure to tune back in. And I believe we will have an interview. So if you guys want to ask Emily and see what her thoughts are about this game, if you want to see her reaction to, we're going to have to ask her about this B pawn. So stick around if you want to see Emily with the post-game interview. We will do a call. Yes, GG. Emily did win her game. She absolutely crushed it. So let me see if I can get her on call here. What's up, Physic? You thought that was for Grandmasters? Well, maybe Emily is a Grandmaster. Who's to say? Yeah, G4 was also very, very exciting. Is that a lacrosse defender stick in the back? Yes, it is, Maple. Right next to my Gandalf staff. Here, this might give you a better view. Anyways. Emily is finding a place where she can give us a call because she cannot call us directly from the playing hall. That would be pretty bad behavior. So she's got to get situated first. But for anyone curious about the game, we can go start to finish here. So Emily had the white pieces playing a Jobava London, going after that C pawn, winning the bishop pair for her knight, and then launching out with G4. G5 attacking the knight. Knight goes home. Now she continues her development. After queen c7, there's a threat to win a piece, so she brings the knight back. We simplify in the center. Black has a strong center here, by the way, and so at this point, it's really important that she goes e4. There's also c4, but essentially the point is we're trying to contest and break up this pawn duo. So Emily's playing this really well. She castles, she trades, and now here we save that b pawn, which, as we'll see, was very important later. We have d4, knight to d4, I should say. Black gets this open h-file, but Emily wins the pawn in the center, attacking the knight. She puts the rook in the center, opposite the king, and this is going to set up some tricks. So queen back, attacking the g pawn, and now Emily plays this move. It's a really nice move. Defending the pawn, but also opening up the queen on the d file, and also threatening knight d6 check, which was very important. Okay, we're actually getting a call now. So, hello.
Hello.
Good
Sorry
to see
to keep you so late.
No, don't be sorry at all. How's it going? How do you feel?
I am I mean, good that I won, obviously, but you could probably tell towards the end I was letting up, or there was a part where I was just getting tired and had a headache, and I was like, okay, I don't know, feeling like I didn't make the most productive moves for a bit, but we got back into it. So
Yeah, that's totally okay. And honestly, you did great. Honestly, I was very impressed by your G4, G5 push. That was incredible. Is that
oh,
some
thank
secret
you.
prep that you had? Have you done that before?
No, I mean, I usually play it when the knight's it's an idea in the opening, like when the knight's on e5 usually, but yeah, I don't know. I just I don't normally play without that, but it seemed good. But then I think after that, I thought I maybe blundered e5 because then it was like a discovery on the pawn, which I didn't see. So I was thinking maybe I messed up, but then I calculate I think it was fine because I don't know, I can't remember, but yeah. And then that whole e5 fight was kind of intense and not great for me, but
Yeah.
we prevailed.
I loved when they played queen b6, attacking your b pawn, and you just let it hang. You pushed e4. I thought that was very impressive as well, actually.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So you're fighting
Yes.
for the center. You stuck to the principles.
Yeah. Well, I figured you even if they took the yeah, I don't know. I think everything was better for me that way than allowing them to continue to advance those pawns and attack my bishop and stuff. So I was like, I think the yeah, that seemed like the best option.
Yeah, and it was really strong. And I thought that when you put your knight on e4 and you were lining up that knight d6 check, that was also really solid. And they blundered, and you were lights out.
Yeah. Yeah, that was nice.
Because if they
Uh
trade your knight, you trade queens, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, wow, Emily, also, I have to say, I looked at your first game and holy smokes, what a game that one was as well. You're a
Uh
perfect 2 for 2 right now, Emily. Is this a new 2026 Emily?
I suppose. I don't know. We'll
Emily
see.
Emily might not ever lose a game again.
Oh yeah. No, it's probably gonna happen tomorrow, so we'll
No,
see. But
no, you're gonna finish. I mean, so you have 2 more games tomorrow, right? And is that the end of the tournament?
no, then there's Monday too.
Okay, so
It's a lot.
it's 6 games total.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
But I
we'll
mean, so
see.
far so good. You couldn't have asked for a better start with your first 2 games, right? A perfect score.
Yes.
Um, and I think we wanted to look at this game. Obviously, you have a lot of fans that are really supportive of you, and they're really excited to see your other games. But we had a couple questions about this one in particular.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
there
Oh
was a
no, I have
moment
to
where
try and visualize. Okay.
I have the game on stream too. But okay, obviously the C pawn was pushed, right? And that really forced his rook to stay on the C file. You could have
Oh
pushed
yeah, yeah.
C7 perhaps a few times.
Yeah, I know.
However, you decided to push your A and B pawns because you wanted to get another pass pawn. Do you
Yeah.
remember when you pushed? Also, it's funny. This is like the last moment. So okay, your B pawn was on B3, right? Because you pushed B3 to save it earlier.
Yeah.
Well, when you pushed the B pawn, you pushed it 2 squares. You went from B3 to B5, which was pretty cool. And
Oh
no one
no.
noticed, and so you just traded the A pawn, and yeah, you made your B pawn became passed very fast. So that was pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
So,
Oh my, I did not even, I don't know why I did that.
well, it's okay because it happens, and we've
That's
all.
terrible. Oh my gosh.
It's okay though. No one saw it, so it was all good. I'm like trying to pull up.
I feel terrible. I wish you didn't tell me. Well, we will see when we.
This, you'll have to find it later in the VOD. But what's funny is, so the DGT board, I don't even think can work after that. But we were able to triangulate the position to make it work. So
Oh no.
there you have
Oh
it.
no.
B3 to B5. They took that B pawn. You take back, and now you have 2 pass pawns. So that was definitely very entertaining to witness.
Oh my gosh. That's horrible.
No, we're all
I
learning
just,
together. I mean, that B pawn was destined for greatness. The moment that you left it hanging and they didn't take it, I just knew that pawn was special.
oh my gosh. Wow. This is awful. I'm not gonna sleep tonight because my moral
Oh
compass
no.
is going to be. Oh
No, it's okay. I
no.
mean, you were winning regardless. So you were just expediting the winning process.
Oh no, well, what do I do? Should I tell someone?
No, no, this is gonna be our secret. We're gonna delete the VOD. No, we're never gonna speak of this ever again.
Oh
It's like it never
no.
happened.
Oh my gosh. I feel bad.
No, don't. Okay, actually, so I told a story when this happened. I told the chat that you're not the only one to ever make an illegal move, Emily, because you know who else made an illegal move?
Who?
Me. I made an illegal move. And you know who
Oh,
I made it against
when you were
someone.
12 or
No,
just
this was in the last like 4 or 5 years.
okay.
I played this against someone that you know from the Charlotte Chess Center.
Kingsley?
Yes, I played an illegal move against Kingsley.
Did he notice?
Yeah, he noticed.
Oh
We
yeah,
got it.
of
It
course.
got called out. Luckily, it didn't change anything. He like resigned the next move, which was funny.
Oh.
But yeah, I played a check when I was in check, so I had to move my king, but then
Oh.
I was winning anyways. So
Oh.
don't worry, you're not the only one to make an illegal move. It happens.
Oh my gosh. You know what was weird is when I moved that pawn, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I like did second. I was like, wait,
He goes two
I don't know. It
squares.
like it felt weird, but then I was like, yeah, that's right.
No,
I like, oh no. Okay, well, anyway, great.
it's
I wish you
okay.
wouldn't have told me.
My bad. I'm sorry.
I mean, I would have seen it when I went home and tried to look at the game.
Actually, that's a
Um,
good point. When we look at the events page, it might be broken. So who knows? But
oh
yeah,
no.
no, it was very
Well,
entertaining start to finish. Um, yeah, so do you think if you had that same position again, would you follow with G4, G5 again? Did you like that?
yeah, yeah. I wanted to look at it because yeah, I thought for some reason E5 might have like I thought for a second I may have overlooked E5 as a response to that. Maybe it was like a move or two later, but then attacking my bishop and with a discovered attack on the pawn. But then I think it was okay because then I just play like queen C3 or something and then I win the piece back, I think. Or I don't know. I don't remember, to be honest. But yeah, I like I liked that I mean his whole king side, if he I I mean if he did castle it was gonna be rough for him. And then obviously he couldn't like he got kind of behind in development because of it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to look at the more like the lines, but um yeah.
Yeah, no, it was still very exciting. I think it was very aggressive. I think the aggression paid off for sure because you made your opponent very uncomfortable and they made some suboptimal moves and you really just cranked up the heat and they crumbled. So that was great. Um, I do think that and you know me. I like castling, so I feel like castling you did end up castling, but your king was looking pretty open, I'd say. Like especially
Yeah.
giving up your light square bishop for their knight and opening up their H file. I thought that was a bit unnecessary and potentially
Yeah.
risky.
Yeah,
Uh
I was considering playing bishop e5 there and like trading or
yeah,
maybe it was
bishop
like
e4.
trading off the bishops. But then
Yeah.
I was thinking
Oh, but you
I
won
was
the
like,
e
well,
you took the knight so that you could
yeah,
win the pawn. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. And then and I thought about it and I was like, I don't really see a way he can capitalize on this anytime soon. So hopefully I can just be quicker.
Well,
That's what I
so
thought.
there is a way for them to capitalize. They took with the
So,
H pawn, which makes a lot of sense, right? It opens the H file for
huh?
their rook, but they could
Sure.
have taken with their queen. They could have done queen takes G6. And then
Yeah,
if
I
you
saw
take on
that.
E5, then they take on G5 with check.
Yeah, I saw that. But that was after I saw the queen offered. Like I didn't see that he could take with the queen till after I played it, but then um he didn't. So I got lucky. But yeah, that was a mistake on my part.
It's okay. He didn't do that because I mean, I didn't see that until the computer pointed out. I thought just H takes made no or made a ton of sense, right? Just opening the H file, it's super logical. But no,
Yeah,
they didn't capitalize, and you won a pawn, and then you won the game, and now you
through
can.
questionable measures.
No, you won
Oh
regardless.
no,
Listen,
it's
at least
horrible.
it's not like you were losing, played an illegal move, and then were winning. It's like you were winning the whole way through, essentially, after they had blundered, and it didn't matter. I would say that like uh, when you traded the second, the first pair of rooks, you traded on h1, right? And then you gave up your f
Mhm.
pawn with check, and then their knight runs away.
Yeah,
I thought at that point you were making a ton of king moves. Like you were bringing the king up, but that didn't need to happen. You should have tried just like trading rooks, like playing rook d7 earlier, or even starting to push the c pawn at that stage, c5,
yeah,
c6.
yeah. That's the part where I kind of like was feeling, I don't know, tired and
Yeah,
lazy, to be
yeah.
honest. And then I was like, okay, come on, because I gave up the pawn.
And then you had to
Yeah, and
lock in.
yeah, I was like, okay, you gotta come on, like
Yeah, because
don't just throw this
he
away.
didn't give up too easily. He put his rook on the e file and he started pushing his
Yeah,
pawns, and you had to put the king back. But then you found a way through, right? Like as his pawns were pushing, it was both like a little bit worrisome that they were getting a little advanced, but at the same time it created weaknesses that you were able to capitalize on. And then he was no
hmm,
longer able to defend everything. And then you started pushing the c pawn, and then he had to put the rook behind the pawn, and then you mopped
yeah,
up. So it was a good conversion. Obviously, maybe you could
but
have done it a little bit
done
more
it sooner.
efficient,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's okay
I know.
because it led us to this beautiful uh, b pawn push that it left us all in awe. And honestly, we're even more hooked now. We can't wait to see what you come up with tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, this is horrible. But well, thanks. I'm glad I won through unethical measures.
No, it
But
wasn't. It was. I mean, the move was illegal, but the win was still a win, and I don't think it taints it in any way because you were completely crushing regardless.
no. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, but yeah, I know there was like that whole time in like the early end game, I was just uh not, yeah, I was letting up a little, and then he was being super resilient, so I was like, right,
Yeah,
here we go.
yeah. Yeah, but you put an
So
end to it and you got the job done in spectacular fashion, and you're 2 out of 2 at the end of the day. And we're all really happy for you, and we can't wait to see what you do. So hopefully you do get some rest. I don't want you to lose any sleep over this, and because you're gonna need it. You've got 2 more days left and a lot more chess left. So your next
oh
opponent
gosh.
probably gonna be a little tougher. But you're gonna rise to the occasion. We're gonna see. Have you ever started a tournament 3-0 before?
Yes.
Ooh, so you
So
gotta
it could all turn around very
have
soon.
you done 4-0 before?
No,
Okay.
never.
Tomorrow could be the first.
It could.
So
There's a chance.
let's see
But
it. Let's see you go 4 for 4.
okay.
I believe in you.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for commentating and the kind feedback on my unethical practices.
Yeah, I think we said it's only illegal if you get caught, so you're fine.
Is that the case? I don't know how that works, but
Anyways, no, thank you for having
okay.
me. It's been an absolute pleasure. You're gonna be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern.
10:30. Yes, Rachel will be commentating again. So,
Awesome.
yes, and then you'll be back in the afternoon.
Yes. Shout out to Rach
Okay.
Angel who did a great job earlier this morning, and we'll be back again tomorrow morning. So for those of you that want to see 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and the second game of tomorrow will be at the same time, 4 p.m. Eastern, and we hope to see you all back again then. So thank you everyone, and yeah,
Thank
congrats again,
you.
Emily. You did perfectly today. and we'll be back supporting you tomorrow.
Okay, well, thank you, Joe. Thanks, guys. I think there's a couple mods that can direct the raid, but message me if there's problems.
Cool. Awesome. We'll find
Okay,
someone.
thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the one and only Emily Plays Chess, who had a perfect day of chess today with a flawless 2-0 victory, winning both of her games, and she's got 4 more to play. 2 of them will be tomorrow. And we're going to find someone to raid, so stick around. Let's see who's live. I guess Emily has mods that will find someone to raid. But meanwhile, I'm going to send you all off to... I'm going to raid JVO. So let's raid JVO. You're the best, Joe. Take care, Dustin. Take care, Physic. Thank you all for being here. Man, it's got to be late in Europe. Shout out to everyone that tuned in and for hanging around. And we got so many raids today. Thank you, Oscar Chess, Board 8, Zago, Kiki, Mr. Grinch, Ice Pulse, Mentos. You all are awesome for the follows. Ooh, Ellen Viking also followed and rated. Huge. And we had SCP Castro. Yeah. Lots of follows, lots of raids, lots of viewers, and lots of love and support. You guys rock. And I'll hopefully see you all again tomorrow. So take care of yourselves. Have a good night. Peace out. Bye.